So, hi guys, welcome to NEET World Institute and NEET World YouTube channel. Yes, and good afternoon to everyone. Okay, so in this class, no, we are going to concentrate on particularly graph. Okay, so we are not going to talk detailedly about graph, whatever we are seeing in the math. Okay, so what are the important things which is required in physics, that one will talk. So basically graph means what? Like we are comparing the one quantity with the other quantity, or we are comparing one term with the other term, right? No, x versus y, right? So this is the basic term of graph. So what we know, whenever we are having a comparison between them, like we'll draw a line, we'll draw some bars, everything, no. So a line graph, bar graph, a pie chart will draw like comparison, like this much percentage for A, this much percentage of B, so total percentage will be 100%. Like this we will compare everything, right? So basically in physics we'll talk about slope and we'll talk about area. Okay, this thing we are comparing with the differentiation and integration. Okay, that one we will see now. So graph. So what is the meaning of graph and what we are going to see in physics? So graph in physics and what and why? So graphs are visual tool to understand one quantity changes with another quantity, right? The one quantity is called as x-axis, will keep in x-axis, the other quantity will keep in the y-axis. So in physics we often relate time with position. The first thing, time with position. Yeah, so we'll relate time with the position, then time with the velocity, then time with acceleration, then pressure. Pressure like will relate in terms of force and area. Pressure is nothing but force by area, no. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah. So example, plotting a distance versus time. So helps to identify if the motion is uniform motion or non-uniform motion. Okay sir, ఇదంతా చెప్పారు, బట్ ఈ టైమ్ అండ్ పొజిషన్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ తీసుకున్నామంటే టైం ఎక్స్ యాక్సిస్లో ఉండాలా, లేదు టైం వై యాక్సిస్లో ఉండాలా, లేదు పొజిషన్ షుడ్ బి ఇన్ ఎక్స్ యాక్సిస్ ఆర్ ఇట్ షుడ్ బి ఇన్ వై యాక్సిస్. సో దిస్ కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఈస్ దేర్ with many people. Okay, the thing is we need to identify which quantity is changing and which quantity is fixed. Then we need to identify which axis is fixed and which axis is not fixed. Okay, then we can allot the quantity in the axis, right? That one we will see now. Okay, so coordinate axis. So x axis is horizontal, ante like we have talked about the horizontal and vertical, no? Horizontal means what I told, like it will be in a lying position, and vertical it will be in a standing position. So this is my vertical, this is my horizontal. So usually we will represent this is my y axis and this is my x axis. Ante deen em cheptaru, minus x axis ani will, like we will talk about this one as minus x axis and this one as minus y axis, right? Ek minute. Okay, sorry, we will continue with the class now. So this one will talk about y axis and minus y axis, that is vertical, x axis and minus x axis in horizontal. Okay, and whenever we are talking about the graphs, no, we'll usually talk with respect to two axes. Okay, in physics we rarely talk about in three axes, x, y and z. Okay, so x axis is horizontal and usually represent as an independent variable. And చెప్పాను కదా, like which one we should take as independent and which one we should take as dependent variable, right? So here x axis is independent, whereas y axis is vertical and shows the dependent variable. Okay, it's a dependent. Which one is dependent, sir? Y axis is dependent, and which one is independent, sir? So this one, x axis is independent, y axis is dependent, which means obviously when we are talking about independent, it should be like time. Okay, when we are talking about a vertical things like distance, velocity, acceleration, etc., right? So the point 0, 0 is called as origin, will tell. Okay, and example, speed time graph. How we will represent speed and time graph? Speed is nothing but the velocity. So velocity in y axis and time in x axis, right? So example, in the speed time graph, time is on x axis as I told, and then speed is on y axis. Got it? This about a basic information where we need to apply the quantities, in which axis we need to apply and which axis we need to place the quantity, whether the quantity is independent, whether the quantity is dependent. Okay, I need to check that. So whenever we are trying to keep a variable like a time, always keep in x axis, and distance or position. Okay, both are same, like, okay, distance or position, then like change in position. Okay, then velocity, then speed, then acceleration, everything should be in y axis. Got it? The next one, yeah, I have told you the things. Here I will tell you, we are comparing the slope and area with integration and differentiation. Okay, we were talking like displacement, then velocity, then acceleration, right? We were talking about these three things, and I have told you that whenever I need to go from displacement to velocity, velocity to acceleration, what I told, use differentiation. When I am going in the reverse manner, I need to use integration, right? I need to use integration. Similarly, we will talk about the time graph, like velocity time graph and acceleration time graph and position time graph. In this we will talk about slope, then we will talk about area. Okay, so slope in the sense we will talk about differentiation, area in the sense we will talk about integration. Okay, this thing you need to get clarity. అంటే స్లోప్ ఎక్కడ వాడతాం, డిఫరెన్షియేషన్ వాడేటప్పుడు స్లోప్ అని యూజ్ చేద్దాం, ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ అనేటప్పుడు ఏరియా ఆర్ ఏరియా అనేటప్పుడు ఇంటిగ్రేషన్. ఓకే, వెనెవర్ we are seeing area, use integration, whenever we are seeing slope, use differentiation, that's it. Okay, so understanding the slope, like understanding the differentiation point here. Slope of a line is a tangent to the angle made by the line with positive x axis in anti-clockwise direction, which is anti-clockwise. So is this anti-clockwise? No, this is my clockwise direction and this is my anti-clockwise direction. Right now this is my anti-clockwise direction. The thing is, suppose if there is a graph, for example I have taken, okay, what they have told, a point it is there, if I draw a tangent to that, that one is called a slope, and which direction they have taken the angle, this is my x axis. I will draw a parallel line here, this is my x axis, or else exactly I will draw here, exactly I will take a line here, this is my x axis, okay. Now from x axis to in the anti-clockwise direction, that is my theta. What is the thing they are saying? A slope of a line is the tangent of an angle made by the line with the positive x axis, and the positive x axis I am talking in anti-clockwise direction. It tells us the rate of change, like how much the graph has been changing. Slope tells that how the graph is changing with respect to what? Time. And mathematically slope is nothing but tan theta, and theta, the value will be 0 to 180, 0 to 180, that is it. You can take a note of this, we will go for the next one. Done? Okay. Now, so the thing we should understand is, when theta is 0 to 90, slope is always positive. When theta is 90 to 180, slope is always negative. We have come across the angles, acute angle and obtuse angle, right? Acute in the sense less than 90, obtuse in the sense more than 90. Less than 90 and angle means less than 90, slope is positive, more than 90 and less than 180, slope is negative. And when we are talking about exactly 0 and 90, okay, 0, 90 and 180. So when we are talking about 0 and 180, slope is 0. Slope is 0. Why, sir? Why slope is 0? Tan 0, 0, tan 180, 0. I hope you got now why we are getting negative and positive. If we are talking tan 60 degree, we will get a positive value, but when I talk about tan 120, for example, if I take, I will get a negative value. What I told, when we are talking about a theta like 120, 150 kind of things, I can write tan of 90 plus theta, that is 30 degree. So tan and 90 degree is there. Whenever we are having 90, it should change as cot, and this is 30. So 90 plus theta, second quadrant is sine is positive, remaining things are negative, minus cot 30, minus cot 30, and exactly 90 degree, slope is undefined. Exactly 90 means this is my axis. So if I draw a perpendicular line to x axis, it is 90 degree, no? So slope is undefined. Got it? So the next one is, yeah, I have given the example here. So tan theta, that is theta is equals to 60 in the sense tan 60 will be root 3 positive, tan 135, how can we write 135? Can I write 180 minus 45 also I can write, yes, okay, 180 minus 45 I can write, and tan of 90 plus how much? 45, 90 plus 45, I will get again 135 only, but here 90 is there, so it will be changed to cot 45, 90 plus theta, second quadrant, like tan is negative. Okay, so it is a negative slope. Next one, slope using dy by dx. So slope of a line or a curve usually represent dy by dx. Example, sir, y is equals to 4x plus 7. What is the slope, sir? We know that dy by with respect to x I am differentiating, so dx, which is equals to d by dx of 4x plus 7. Sir, what is the differentiation of 4x? So 4 is constant, x is 1. So 1 into 4, that is 4. Differentiation of constant 0. So slope is 4. Is this positive slope? Yes. And it's a constant? Yes. It's a constant slope for the given equation. Right. Y is equals to 2x square. Okay, sir. We will do this one. Dy by dx, that is 2x square, will be equals to 4x. So when value of x changes, the slope changes, which means it's a variable slope. It's a variable slope. Got it? This how we'll differentiate whether it's a constant slope or a variable slope. Constant ante like only the number should be there. I can say it's a constant slope for any point. But a variable slope in the sense 4x is there. So if I keep x is equals to 0, slope is 0. If I keep x is equals to 1, slope is 4. If I keep x is equals to minus 1, slope is minus 4. So depends upon the value of x, the slope changes, keeps on changing, which means it's a variable slope, and this is a constant slope. So next one, types of slopes in graph. So positive slope and negative slope, and zero slope, infinite slope. How to draw this one, sir? I will give a simple clarity how to take. When you are taking a circle, okay, if I draw a tangent for any point, if I draw this point, if I extend this point like this, okay, if I extend the point like this, what is the angle? Less than 90. Less than 90 means positive. If I extend the second line like this, this is my angle. It is more than 90. More than 90 and less than 180, it is negative. Second one is negative, first one is positive. Third one, if you see, parallel. Parallel in the sense 0 it should be or 180 it should be. So what is the angle and what is the slope? 0, flat. And if you see this one, perpendicular, so it is infinite. So this is about the slopes, okay, this is about the slope. And area it is simple. So they will give a graph like this. What is the area of the graph? Which means I need to separate the shapes, I need to get it. So first one, what it is? Half into base into height. What is this formula denotes? Area of the triangle. Second one also same, this also, but in the middle one what it is? Let me take this as a rectangle. Rectangle in the sense length into breadth. Okay. So integration gives area. Integration means like with respect to area. Differentiation means with respect to slope. Okay. If you want to reverse, need to like calculate area. If you want to go forward, need to calculate slope. That's it about the graph. I hope you got some clarity about graphs, I guess. So with this we'll end of this graph session, and we'll meet in the next class. Okay. So until then I'll take a break, guys. Bye bye.